Hi, I'm Jennifer, and this is my presentation for Oral Training 3. My topic is virtual reality and education. I want to first show you my outline of this presentation. I will first identify what virtual reality is and how does the student and teachers use this virtual reality on education. How does the virtual reality has been applied in schools, even in high school or in elementary schools, and even in college, like the Department of Medical. The department used the virtual reality to train their students. And then I will give three undetailed examples, just the general examples about the companies or startups, how they develop the project for students to use virtual reality in school, and how does those project works. And then I will give one narrative examples. The real case in United States about how does the student use virtual reality in classroom, and how does those program and courses help them to gain a lot of knowledge. And the final point, the final section, I want to discuss how can is it possible for students and teachers in Taiwan to use virtual reality in classroom, and if we can do that, and what is the better way to do so, or the limitation of the virtual reality. So this is the outline of my presentation. And first, I will want to talk about what virtual reality is. And basically, virtual reality is a 3D and the environment created by computer, and the users can interact or feel the environment in the virtual world. And so people can stay in a place as if they were in the real world. So this is how virtual reality works. The users will have a headset or the spectacle glasses. They can wear them and as if they were in the 3D environment. So this is how the virtual reality works. And there are also the wide variety of applications of virtual reality, like they can be the entertainment use, or the fitness, or even the serious use, like in I just mentioned before, the medical uses. And today I want to focus on the applications of virtual reality on education. So and especially for the application in the classroom, in the courses. So my first example of VR education is about a startup called Eon Virtual Reality. And Eon Virtual Reality is a company their goal is to enhancing education in virtual reality. So they develop some apps for students to use in classroom. And they also create some programs for teachers to use during the courses. And like in this picture, the teacher is teaching about the Earth and the planet, and the student can wear the headset so they can see the Earth in front of them, instead of the just picture on the books. And they also can ask question or answer the question during this system. So they can learn faster and remember the knowledge and remember the details in classroom better. So this is how Eon Virtual Reality apply the VR system in classroom. And the second example is Google Expedition, and the student can experience the virtual field trips by using the Google apps. They can see the undersea, or going to the museum without fly to the other country, or there. The second example of how virtual reality has been applied in the education is about Google Expeditions, and this is so-called the virtual reality field trips. The students can went to a museum or go to the mountain to see the landscape or the masterpiece in the museum, and they don't have to really fly to the countries or go to that mountain. They can just stay in the classroom and wear their headsets, so they can as if they were in the real museum or in the real mountain. And this is the picture about how the students see in the the second example of how virtual reality has been applied to the education is Google Expeditions. And Google Expedition is so-called virtual reality field trips. Students can went to museum or they went to mountain by just via their headset. They can just wear a headset and sit in the classroom. They don't have to fly to the countries or really go to mountain. It spend a lot of time. So this is the picture about how the students see in their spectacle, their headset, and this is the picture of a mountain. So the student can take a field trips via their Google headset. And the third example is about the medical learning through the virtual reality, and this is a picture about how this program works. The students can see the organs, or they can perform the surgery by the virtual reality, and they can practice before they really do the surgery. So this is one of the application of virtual reality, and this is for most serious use for the medical students. And as for the narrative example, I want to take a startup in Baltimore for example. The startup company is called Alchemy Learning. And Alchemy Learning, their goal is to create a platform for virtual reality learning, and they uses the headset created by Google called Calculus Rift to support their virtual reality platform. And some elementary school in Baltimore is using their platform for the children to learning. And for example, when the teacher want to teach children about the knowledge about the jungle and the animals, they will let the children wear the headset and look at the 3D rainforest in Amazon. So the children will have a vivid picture about how rainforests look like, and they can let the knowledge and the textbook become more vivid. So this is one of the narrative example about virtual reality and education. Learning well, and some statistics also show the children can remember the knowledge longer than before when they using the virtual reality to learn. So as the example I showed, a lot of company and startup are devoted into this field. So I think if the student and teachers in Taiwan want to use this platform or this project to help children learning is workable, but the first limitation is budget, because although the headset and the Google cover is much cheaper than before, but it still costs a lot of money for school to buy the headset or those equipment for a student. So this is one of the limitation in Taiwan if we want to develop this kind of virtual reality education. And the other thing is, so this is the end of my presentation, and the examples I give can indicate that virtual reality has been growth, and a lot of company are trying to apply those program into a classroom.